see. Earlier this week, I went to Roper's Ribs, which is down in St. Louis, and I was able to check out their barbecue. And one of the things, if you are watching this at a later date, this is being filmed whenever COVID-19 was going on and the restaurants were shut down. And so one of the things that was going on with the restaurants is they were having a limited menu. And so initially I wanted to order the peach cobbler because I was so excited to try that, but it was actually unfortunately not being offered at the time, which I mean everyone totally understands because it's such a crazy time right now. But it kind of got me thinking about just cobbler recipes in general and a couple different things that my mom used to do whenever we were growing up. And so I thought I would mix them all together and create something new. So I think we should just try to dive right in. When I was a kid, my mom would make these things called peaches in a blender, is what we called it. I don't know what the actual term was, but she would do peaches, pineapples, and bananas, and cinnamon and nutmeg and ice, and just blend it, and it was a smoothie type. So the filling that's going to be for the cobbler is going to be kind of a wink and a nod to that. I have a half a can of peaches and a half a can, actually this is probably like a third of a can of pineapple, and we're going to blast this in the NutriBullet. So then what we're going to do is I've heated up my stovetop, and we're going to pour this mixture into the saucepan like this, and we're going to create a similar consistency to the thickness of the way a cherry pie filling or any type of a pie filling is, but without all the crazy preservatives and processed sugar and everything. So the peaches and the pineapple, and about a tablespoon and a half of arrowroot powder, and then about 2/3 of a cup of coconut sugar. This has been sitting here for a minute, so it's the only thing you're going to want to save is a little bit of it because you're going to sprinkle this over the top. Now, this heats up pretty quickly, but you're going to cook this down and melt the sugar into the peach mixture. Really stir in that arrowroot powder because that's a thickener. So you definitely don't want chunks of that throughout your recipe, or your recipe. Okay. So while that's finishing, we're going to start on the topping. The topping is also kind of a wink and a nudge because I don't know if you're someone that when you were smaller, did you ever have dump cake? And so what that is like a fruit topping, and then they took a cake mix and they sprinkle it over the top and then put butter over it. So what we have here is 3/4 of a cup of almond flour, 3/4 of a cup of coconut flour, and a cinnamon and nutmeg mixture of about 1 tablespoon. I'm going to put the recipe over on the blog when this is finished, so I don't have all the accurate measurements. But you're going to add this in to the bowl. And then you're going to use about 3 tablespoons of ghee, which is a clarified butter mixture. And I'm just going to stir this up really well. You can smell the flavors kind of starting to marry. Now the consistency of this is kind of starting to form tiny, like, ball consistency. That's about what you're looking for. I don't know if you can see that, but that's where we're at with that. So, cook this down, and then you're going to add a can and a half of yellow clean peaches, and I use it the kind that has 100% fruit juice, so there's no added sugar or anything processed. And you add that in, and you're going to stir this together. This is a really super quick recipe. It's super easy, but the flavors are really intense. That's one of the cool things about not having processed food is, I swear, the flavor is just so much more vibrant and intense. It's really interesting. So, I'm gonna move this over here. You're gonna use, I use just a rectangular sized baking pan. I'm gonna pour this in here. Whoop. That off. Okay, so spread this out, spread the fruit out really evenly. So you get pieces in every bite. And we're just gonna scoop this over onto the top. So that ghee is just gonna melt in throughout that as it cooks down. That's gonna be really good. All right, then you're gonna just sprinkle over the top a little more coconut sugar, and that's gonna give it like a crystallized topping. So I don't know if you can see this is what it looks like. It's gonna twist, but we're gonna put this in the oven for 350 for about 30 minutes.